What's good?
What's up?
Oh man, another day in paradise. What's happening, everybody, man? Thank you guys jumping in. Hopefully you didn't panic too much losing your Facebook access. That's what we were talking now. I mean, I think that's a great point, and it's the first thing that I thought of too. Just think about how scary you're dependent upon a platform that you have no control over.
Yeah.
If that is your pillar for your business.
I mean, I think that the biggest threat is someone who solely depends on that, silo or oil well, as you guys used to call them, oil wells, and why it's so important to diversify and have multiple oil wells. I mean, even anyone running Facebook ads, that had to be getting, that was interrupted, and just having different oil wells, making sure that, if something goes out, you got 3 others pumping oil into your business. I mean, I think that's the bigger lesson / threat if you're depending upon one. So,
agreed.
Yeah, it is. It's, I mean, it just goes back to, go back to fundamentals, right? Go back to the importance of having your own list within a way to where you have more control over it, be it inside of, using social as a call to action to be able to capture, a name and a phone number to gather, give them an item of value and giving you a reason to, build relationships and nurture on them inside of, a platform that you have a little more control over within your kind of your CRM versus being solely dependent that, something out of your control that they are constantly changing the game on. And then, to take it away, they're probably somebody just laughing, right? Just say, let's see how they respond to, no access for an hour. Let's see what they do.
I think it was China.
China.
What's good, everybody, man? Thank you guys jumping in. Whatever questions you have, feel free to throw it into the comments. If you're looking for, kind of a lot of questions, things to be answered, seeing this, just throw it into the group. You can DM us, of course. And then, as always, honeybadgernation.com is the go-to resource for probably 99% of the things that you guys are looking for.
Yeah, get in there and scroll down, click on the coaching calendar. If you haven't, if you're new to the group, make sure you go to honeybadgernation.com, scroll down, you'll see coaching calendar. And our awesome staff made it so easy for you to just go in there, literally click the button. It'll automatically share that calendar. It'll go into your calendar so you're not missing any of the important trainings and coaching sessions that we have going on. Specifically, this Thursday with Coach Wally, where we are going to kick off and continue our Honey Badger Boot Camp sessions. So if you're a newer agent, been licensed less than a year, and you really are feeling lost, and you're feeling like, man, I really need that rocket fuel to get me going here. I don't know. Get in that call, learn the skills. If you're a team leader and you have agents that you're busy, you're running around, you're listing homes, selling homes, and you don't have the time, that needs to be allotted to make sure that those agents have the tools they need to go to the next level. Get them to the call. That's all you need to do is get them to that call and let us coach your people for you.
Faux show. What's good, guys? I mean, what are we, a lot of things are shaking, a lot of things are happening, especially with EXP. Hopefully have a little more insight to share this time next week with everybody. But what else is good? What are you guys hearing? Ears to the ground, agents, and just kind of things to top of mind for everybody to be thinking about.
Man, it's been busy. I wish we could share more. I think this coming what is it, Monday, I guess, or next Monday? Next Monday is a big meeting that we're having with Glenn and the leadership at EXP on just some directional things and things that we all want to see. We all want to grow this thing to the next level. We want to get to 500,000 agents. They're hatching a plan that's going to allow us to do that. and I'm super pumped about it. A lot of insight, a lot of talk with great leaders within our organization, across the company, on just making EXP better, and really being the place that agents come to grow their business. I mean, that's why we're all in the business. That's why 95% of the agents that join EXP are not joining for revenue share or even for the stock. They want to know how to sell more real estate, and I think as a company, we're just going to get better and better at we've got the best agents in the world, right? I mean, that's the truth is, there's no problem you could encounter in your real estate business that we couldn't help people solve. And so I'm excited about the direction we're going, and some cool stuff, that pretty much game changer things that are about to get announced that I can't talk about, but super pumped. That's all.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. I'm seeing, my youngest son, Matthew, who's a senior, and he's been kind of just infatuated with photography for the last 2-3 years. I bought this expensive camera to shoot, YouTube stuff for me here. And then he's kind of taking it over, and he, just taking pictures of everything around, from the house to the outside to the dog and all this stuff. He's now working with one of the top photography firms in Cleveland, in shooting houses now. So he's super pumped. The reason I bring that up is his boss, I guess, Nick, who he shoots all the real producer stuff locally, and he's amazing at what he does. Had told me that the amount of volume on shooting new properties this past month, the past 30 days, feels like last summer. So when he said that, he's like, that's why he added Matthew, because they don't have enough people to shoot the number of houses that are being requested. So for me, that feels like a sign that what's to come is that, a lot more people are getting back in the game with their move. If they put it on, hold, they're getting back into the game again. And I don't know. You don't know what to believe, what you read, but have you guys read? I've been reading stuff that says that they're going to systematically, slowly reduce the rates throughout 2024, which is exactly, I think, what we need, and to kick things back into where they were before again. What about you guys?
Hearing the same thing. Inventory is climbing in a lot of markets. So I think it was calculated risk was what I quoted last week, that little newsletter. And, you can go through, a lot of the top markets and look at the year over year and inventory and things of that nature. And some markets are getting hit harder than others. And, where sales are a little bit down. Some markets, the inventories, is still super light. So, every market's a little bit different, but it seems like, the hangover of, of COVID and being used to these low rates forever, people that wanted to make a move, but we're going to wait and see, and we're sitting on the fence or getting off the fence, which is another reason why, I'm super bullish on lead gen right now, because a lot of the efforts, if you did, some marketing and Facebook ads, things like that last year or the year before, the same, return on effort wasn't as high as it will be going into spring and throughout the rest of the year, especially with rates, predicted to be, getting lower and lower over the next 2 years. So, I mean, it's a great opportunity. And I think it's kind of what the market needed. We needed a little bit of a normalization here in terms of getting some inventory on the market and whatnot. So most markets are looking really strong right now, a little bit more of a balance than what we've seen.
Awesome.
Love it.
I'd be curious in the comments, if you're listening, what is the days on the market in your marketplace? What is the month's worth of inventory, or is it up, down? What are you guys seeing out there, and tell us what markets you're into.
Where are you also, all the conversations you guys are having with agents? I mean, what seems to be the thing? And it's two different questions, right? One question is what's keeping them up at night, and then a slight distinction is what would help them sleep better at night. It's two different things. And so what are you hearing? Is it more of staying up, or man, this would probably help me sleep better at night? Like, because it's a slight distinction, but it's important to understand. Is people leaning more towards fear-based or more towards, man, I got a little opportunity here, and if I could capitalize on it, it'd make things a lot better.
It's a great frame up, John. I would say, people are a little bit more optimistic right now.
Yeah.
So, I think people are feeling, hey, this feels different, right? Like that's pretty consistent with everybody I'm talking to. It's not what it felt like last year. So I would say that, most people are not, looking for something to make them sleep better. They're a little bit more opportunistic about, especially coming into the spring, which is, it's the selling season now. So, and we're seeing the uptick in sales already. So it's coming, be ready for it. Now's when you do the work. You should have been already doing the work actually, but it's never, the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The second best time is today. So start doing the work.
Being
Yeah.
in there, do you think it's also part of that, this model, right? When we're really talking about it, when we came in, 17, 18 timeframe, it was really disruptive, right? It was completely shift. It took a little bit of while for people to actually grasp and get their head around what it is. Do you think we've had enough time to where people are like, okay, yeah, I get it. I know what it is. Now that's a little bit more, okay, kind of, pumping the brakes, but more so like, hey man, okay, let's see how I see this thing now. It makes sense.
Yeah. I think there's, again, like when you look at the adoption curve, right. And you got, the early adopters and, and you got the laggards and crossing the chasm and all that, we're probably not quite crossed the chasm. I mean, there's such a large number of agents that think they know what they think, they look at us as, well, y'all are just a recruiting company. Well, I still hear that even still today, which is a black eye for us because all real estate companies are recruiting companies. But I think, the innovation around the brokerage has remained, very much changed and changed forever. There'll never be another company that starts without revenue share or stock. Like that ship has sailed, right? And so it's very similar to what happened with KW introducing a cap. After that, very few companies came along that really flourished that didn't have some type of a cap, right? Mm-hmm. And so, I still think a lot of people don't really truly understand what it means to have partners in your business. And it's not revenue share, it's reward share. We get rewarded by helping agents. In fact, some of the things that, we're talking about as far as positioning around, our brand and our image at EXP is, EXP is investing in coaching for you, where you would have normally had to pay tens of thousands of dollars to have access to the same type of coaching and training that's provided now through all of us helping each other is a huge distinction and difference from how we all grew up in the business, right? We all paid the money and, flew around the country and did all those things. And what EXP has done is they're providing, that through partnership and, reward share is what we get by helping other agents become more successful. And I think that's what, agents should be looking for, is who's going to be able to help them with growing their business, because as we know, this is a difficult business to get into and be successful. So I think that's a big distinction around, the brokerage models forever changed. I think agents still don't really understand. They just think that it's a recruiting model, and it's not about selling real estate. But as more of these companies continue to pop up, it's bringing more awareness to, hey, this is not just a recruiting thing. This is really something else. And I think really the next couple of years, it's only going to make it easier for us, because being first to market, we've talked a little bit about this, but and looking at our competitors that are coming along and trying to craft their story about, being the next Google or the next Amazon, which is being first to market, we have this huge advantage of having broken through all the barriers and became, the number one company in the space in this new model. We can adapt. We're agile. It's one of our core values. If we see something that someone's doing better, we can just adapt, adopt, and apply it to what we're doing. It gives us a huge advantage. So, coming second into a marketplace, which is one of our competitors says we had the blessing of going second. That's not a blessing. It's ridiculous. I mean, that's not where you want to be if you're trying to raise money and compete against, a huge competitor that is super agile and profitable and has a lot of cash and no real bad debt at all. So, we're in a great position from that perspective to really, continue our growth, which is, part of the things that we're going to be talking about the next week. But yeah, I think it's fascinating. When disruption happens, how many people come along and try to craft their little story and, ride the coattails of the first to market and try, they try to improve on the model. But, as crazy as it sounds, we really, Glenn really nailed it. I mean, he really did nail the model. It's just better. You can try to come along and be the next company that offers revenue share in stock. You could try to tell them a story about why, look what EXP stock did. Ours is going to do the same. But if you're not a profitable model and you're charging less per agent, you're just going to, your stock's not going to be worth anything. So I think there's a lot of confusion around, agents that don't really know, and they kind of hope, they buy into some hope that the stock's going to be worth something more somewhere else, or some of those types of things. But the first wave of 100,000 agents, I think people think, oh man, I missed out on the opportunity. Well, what you don't want to miss out on is the next 150,000, because it's going to come as fast as the first 100,000 did. And that's, that is another, that's where the bigger opportunity is now, is as it becomes more accepted and people start to really learn, okay, I should look at all these companies. It's only going to put us in a position to win.
Yeah, I agree. There's a couple things in there I want to expand upon, just for everybody listening in, and why what you were saying is so important. And the reason, if one, I don't know if a leader could have got us to this point if they were trying to build something to sell it. Their motive would be different. And, we talk about, going to sources, going to principles, and Patrick Lencioni is one of the sources that has, shaped our thinking and shaped the way we structure and the way we run business. And, there was one book that he it's crazy. He didn't really promote the heck out of it like he has a lot of the other things. And it's because it's, I really don't know why. I don't know what his reasoning behind it was, but he held back on it, and it's called The Motive. And in typical Lencioni fashion, right, he tells it in fable format, and then he really breaks down the lessons behind it. And it's really understanding, why you do what you do. And, it was two competing companies. One's building a company just because he thought he had to. One is just a true visionary. And so when you look at something, when you look at the pioneers, you look at, study history, and obviously, with Remax, and then what Gary, and then, Glenn, right? It's crazy, right? To say, you start saying the names, the pioneers that really shape residential, real estate on the globe. And, Glenn's name's right there, but I don't know if Glenn's name would be there if he was trying to build and sell.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
he's a true latching on. And this is why this is important for everybody listening in to be able to get this. And people gravitate to people. And it's yes, logically you can have a great superior business model. Sometimes that doesn't matter to people. It's the emotional connection and understanding the story, and people connect with people. One of the biggest things that I've seen, and this is super important for all of you leaders listening into this, you have to get this, right? There are no business problems. It's leadership problems, and people leave people. And some of the biggest exits that I've seen from EXP to other platforms that are similar is that they believe in the platform side of things, but they didn't believe in the people that were immediately leading them. Mm-hmm. So guys listening in, I mean, this is why we recommitted to come back live in this group every Tuesday at 12 Eastern, like clockwork. The three of us made that commitment because it is important that we are coming in here, repeating ourselves, getting you guys recommitted, refocused on a weekly basis. And it's because leadership is everything, and people will leave you if you are not leading and pouring into them and providing that framework. And so it really is neat to see from the top with what Glenn and the leadership and what he's been able to do, and just holding true to that vision. And, the three of us were sitting in that back room in Fort Lauderdale, and can't even tell you what hotel we were in, but, just being able to sit there, I felt like we were in a mob movie. Right. Just being able to hear right from him. I mean, it was like, like I mean, it's almost like we were in a movie, and it really is that impactful and really imprinted on me the importance of vision and the importance of being a great leader and, living out and executing on that. Here we are 7-8 years later, and like, it's unbelievable.
Yep. Yeah. And we're just getting started. I mean, we've had several private conversations with Glenn in the last couple of weeks, and just seeing where his head's at and where he's thinking, and the moves he's wanting to make, and he ain't going anywhere. I mean, he is dedicated to getting us to 1 million agents, and that's exciting. It's exciting to see his excitement, and his continued pursuit of the vision, and his continued pursuit of helping agents, making this the best place for agents to be. As you go back and look at all the things that have happened at EXP since we've been here, that's the filter everything's been ran through. And, that's how we ended up with healthcare. It's how we ended up, with success and success coaching, and all of these things are just trying to make a better opportunity for the agents. And so, it's inspiring to see that leadership. And then we have to trickle that down as we get information and cascade that down to our leaders. And you guys have to cascade that down to the people, and, that you're leading. And that's like you said, John, that's a super important part of this. If people leave, they're leaving you, that's a, So
I want to, kind of piggyback on that about something Dan Beer said. It may have been a year ago, but it resurfaced about revenue share. And there's a talking point out there that says not everybody cares about revenue share. And Dan has been a big proponent of focusing on production over recruiting, which I'm on board with that. But the distinction that he made that I thought was brilliant, and it just came up again, Jay, you may have heard it through one of our chats that we had with Dan, is that why should an agent who has no desire to sponsor anybody and they just want to sell, why should they care about revenue share? And the reason they should care about revenue share is because it's why Jay Kinder's here. It's why all these big coaches that have coached thousands of agents and changed their lives and helped them grow their business came here to do it for free without charging. You got to think about like that, the environment that it's created. All, when you look at Fast Forward Movement, Kyle Whistle and Dan and Mary and everything they've created, that mastermind, they don't charge anybody to go into any of that. And prior to the emergence of this model, they would have never done that at Keller Williams. They would have never done that at any other brokerage for that matter. Kyle had an independent brokerage. He was going to go out and do free masterminds and stuff like that. I mean, and then you look at what we've done here in Honey Badger Nation, and you got access to John Kitchens, you got access to Michael Reese. That didn't happen 6-7 years ago. It just didn't exist. Why? It's because of that revenue sharing program. What you called it, reward sharing. It's a brilliant just distinction to think of it from that perspective. Okay, yeah, maybe you're not. I mean, we're bringing a team leader aboard here in Northeast Ohio, and first thing out of her mouth is, I don't want anything to do with all that. You're just a recruiters, right? It's a mindset, and it's able to be changed through some thoughtful thinking through, like, okay, do you really know what you're saying? Because you don't, and are they really saying no to that, or are they saying no to the idea of recruiting because of how they were recruited? And that was me. There's a reason why I never joined Keller Williams, is because it wasn't because the model wasn't great. It was a great model at the time. I was at Remax. It was because of the way I was being approached. So I was saying no to the way I was being approached. But when you look at what's been built here in this platform, is that it is built for the agent who wants to grow. It's built for the agent. It's not, I'll tell you this, it's not built for the agent who doesn't want to grow.
Right.
It's not built for that agent. They're better off wherever they're at. If they're not looking to really grow their business and collaborate and connect, that's what this is all about. So it was just cool, like seeing it from two different sides of the spectrum. Someone, I don't know what the statistic is, Jay. It's over like 85% of agents, they either get no revenue share or very little. So why are they here? They're here because of this collaborative environment. They're here because big people that have spent over $1 million in coaching programs and have coached agents and stood on stages, and they're here to like give as much value to the agents who can't afford to stroke those big checks for a coach. And so like, just think of it in terms of that, as that they should love it for those reasons as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're so spot on. And it's an environment, and it's the same thing, right, man? It's the same thing with coaching, man. It's you get more what you put in, you get out of it more than what you put into it. And I remember, the lesson, and I try to tell people this. I'm like, guys, like, there's a reason Jay Abraham loved us. You know why? Because we strategized before every coaching call. We were the first ones in the queue. We got out of the queue. We were the next ones in. We always had a question. And then that's like, a lot of people listening to this, they're not going to like this. The reason y'all don't have questions is because you ain't fucking doing shit. And I don't care. Like, I'm just going to put it out there with you guys. Your work ethic is the worst I've seen. And it's because you haven't found your motivation. Like, we can't motivate you. We can inspire you. Motivation comes from within. And I think that's what's lacking, is that people just are missing a way to find what motivates them. But that's where great leadership comes in. And that's why it's so important who you find and who you put into your inner circle. I'll say it like my favorite quote. If you don't look at the people in your circle, if they don't inspire you, you don't have a circle, you have a cage. And it's one of the biggest lessons that I took out of Bet David's book was establish your inner circle. He has a chart in there that you grade and you put them in, you like identify the inner circle. Like, every one of you, like, if you're struggling, go build your inner circle today. Go build it. And then from there, the who can help you get clear on the motivation, and then they can help you on the next path. I mean, dude, I had like, man, I got to tell, I didn't mean to cut you off. I got to tell you this story. I got to tell you this story. You've talked a lot about a guy out of Lawton, Oklahoma named Travis.
Yeah.
I had somebody from my past that I haven't talked to in a decade reach out to me because of Travis.
Clint
Walker.
Yep.
Clint Walker. I haven't talked to Clint. I worked, came back from California, and I've known Clint. I mean, we laid sod together. I mean, that's how far back in the day we go, right? And and so, working with him and Sharp, and running Second Street, right, and all the entities, and selling everything, and going down the path which ultimately led, to meeting, getting hooked up with Kinder. But it's just one of those things, right? You never know as a leader. It's just like, keep putting the message out there and keep looking for that, but getting those people around you. And, Travis, started working with Clint, opened Clint's eyes. I mean, Clint's coming to EXP because of Trav, because of the work that the three of us are doing, because of the Honey Badger Nation. And so that's what I mean. I mean, the circle, the community, the collaboration, everything that you were saying there, Al, it's so important. And here's the get. Somebody that I've known for over 25 years, longer probably, had no clue what we were doing. Mm-hmm. And so if you guys out here listening think everybody knows what you're doing or what you're up to or what it is, you're mistaken. Mm-hmm. You're mistaken. Somebody over 20 years in my life had no clue what we were doing, had no clue what I was doing at all. And so, like, that's the lesson, man. And you got to be able, all of us, right? Everybody listening to this, everybody in the Honey Badger Nation, 14, 15,000 strong, you guys have got to get the message out, because we are changing people's lives.
Yep. I think that's the coolest part of that story too, is, the kid was on a team and was having some success, really was concerned about kind of going out on his own, and we showed him how we were going to help him, the tools, the technology, the training, everything you're going to get access to here, helping them with with running the ads and generating leads. And, what does his production look like, Al, since he came on board? I mean, I know you kind of have a rough number.
Oh, I mean, I'm going to take a while. By the way, I just had a call with him yesterday, and it was about Clint, but he was like, dude, I just put 3 under contract. It's the first time he's ever put 3 under contract in 1 week. Nice. And prior to that, I think he's probably sold about 4 or 5 other homes since he's been with us. And he hasn't been with us been more than like a few months.
Right.
The cool thing is he's not even a year in the business yet.
Right. It's crazy.
And the even cooler part is that I haven't even told you guys this, but there's a lady who I don't know who she is, but she was with EXP prior. I think she had somewhere between 70 to 100 people in her line at one point. Don't know why she left, and met with Travis, had coffee, not as a recruiting deal, but she's coming back aboard with Travis. Like, he's not a recruiter. This is a brand new agent, not even 12 months. He's 11 and a half or 10 and a half months in the business. And he's already attracting people. Just why? Because he's vulnerable enough to just dive in and do what we're, do what we're telling him to do.
Motivation. He was inspired. He had the motivation. He trusted the process. He's doing the work. He's doing it. I mean, he's doing it.
Plugs in.
Yeah.
And he loves it. And he just does it. Like, he's in my calendar every week.
Yeah.
And I gave him a link. It's not because I'm like, hey, Travis, why aren't you in my calendar? Nope. He's just in there. And he gets on the call. He's enthusiastic. He's pumped. This is a young kid that's never sold anything real estate a year ago, And so, I love the story. So much fun. I've actually had him on calls with other people that we're talking to from Florida, not even in the same state, just in sharing his story. And love me 12 more Travises.
Yeah.
They're out there though. That's the thing, right? They're out there. They just haven't heard the message. It just hasn't connected for them yet. And I think that's, our part, keep repeating the message. And that's so hard for drivers, entrepreneurs, alpha personalities sometimes to be okay with repeating themselves. And I think, once you can overcome that and it becomes natural, you just know, right? And they just haven't heard the message enough yet. And it's our responsibility. And everybody listening in, it's your responsibility to keep repeating the message because there is such a better way.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, sweet. I know we've got a lot of things coming, a lot of things in the works.
We do.
I'm excited for next week to, just kind of see where things are at. We're coming, wrapping up Q1 here, getting ready to prepare, get into Q2. Expert Mentors is still rocking. Had Nolly on last week, which was fantastic. Got Mr. Mike Collier back in the house. We've got the training with Wally. EXP just launched. The radio station, if you will, the streaming radio station, which has a lot of rock stars in there. Just cool enough to they're picking up some of my podcast episodes, dropping in there. So that's awesome. Really, really cool to see. And, kind of what's coming. I do have a request, fellas. They are taking EXP International to our boys in Portugal, Rodolfo and Nuno. And so I know it's the first week of June, but they're already requesting us to make a trip. But there's a lot of great things happening, not only, locally in the States, but all over.
Another announcement too, for those maybe who didn't see it, they integrated the platform, the Open Door platform with Express Offers. So now you can run Express Offers, you can run ads for cash offer guaranteed, all that kind of stuff, and you can run it straight from EXP's Express Offers platform into Open Door and get a cash offer. It's a huge deal, for those that were maybe not sure how to leverage that. You now have a guaranteed cash offer from Open Door. Of course, it's got to fit their buy box or whatever, but that's another notch in the belt. Now, you can say, hey, listen, I know I can at least get you one offer from Open Door. So
yeah, dude, I love that.
I think we should launch a mastermind into the marketing behind that, because we all agree that's the best offer you can make to get seller leads, right? I mean,
motivated seller leads.
I think we should do that. I love the Express Offers. It's probably one of the most underutilized rockets that we have in our arsenal that is just people aren't firing it enough. And I think the reason is because they just don't know how. Okay, how do I run that ad? How do I run that offer? I remember Go ahead, John.
No, I was gonna say that Braden needs to be doing that every Friday.
Yep.
Motivated seller leads every Friday. Motivated seller leads. I'm telling you guys, like, and this is what I tell everybody that I have the opportunity to work with and coach. Like, don't spend the money on buyer leads. Motivated seller leads. Motivated seller leads. Motivated seller leads. Because if you get the listings, you become attractive. You're going to get more listings. You're going to get all the buyers, and you're going to be more attractive to agents. Motivated seller leads. If Braden's spending any time at all on Funnel Fridays, motivated seller leads.
Yep.
Al, you crushed it. I mean, I still have it's in my inbox. I have your downsize CLE campaign, right? And really just going after the motivated sellers, downsize, cash offer, guaranteed sell, right? Like, our longtime, friend and client, number one KW agent in the state of Oklahoma, Kyle Davis, strongestcashoffer.com. You know what his biggest problem was? Didn't have enough money to buy the properties. That was his biggest constraint. You talk about a high-class problem because of motivated seller leads. Blake Sloan, number one problem, too many motivated seller leads because why? Because that's all they market. All they market after. And you guys listening, Al, you nailed it, man. Like, that's all we need to be talking about when it comes to production, motivated sellers.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Lots of fun stuff to come.
Yeah. I can't remember what the heck I was going to say, but it doesn't matter. I wrote down motivated seller lead mastermind. It's just a thing. And the other thing Jay and I were talking about too is, and put it in the comments if this is something you'd be interested in. We've talked about like putting, I don't know if it would be necessarily a mastermind, but a group together that's interested in investing, interested in getting in on some of these investments that, Jay, John, Michael, and I, we kind of have the insider peek in on some investments. Some of them maybe are not everyone's appetite, higher risk type of stuff, and some of them should be right up your alley, such as real estate. Nick Good just hit me up with another apartment building that they're looking to. But yeah, so investment training, please, is what Mindy says. Yeah, I mean, it could be an investment training / mastermind or whatever, but more or less an opportunity for someone who's looking. You got a few bucks laying around, like, what do I do with it? Sitting in the bank account does nothing. Where can I put this to make this capital work for you? That's the biggest challenge when you get to a certain level of income, is where can you put it so that it's working for you? Because it's sitting doing nothing is a waste, and it's actually losing money because of inflation. Just letting it sit there. Where can you get it working for you? And I think that would be that's another thing that we're just trying to improve. The overall experience of your career, your business, building your wealth, personal life, all that. So any suggestions, if that's something you'd be interested, hit yes, please in the comments. And we're going to start working on that stuff among all the other stuff.
It's an evolution, man. It's got to be a part, right? And I mean, we did it out of necessity, but you've got to do it as part of being strategic for your end game, right? To escape, being the dancing bear. And have multiple, have those income streams that only real estate provides. And just the example I gave with Kyle, if we had a group, be like, there's Kyles in every city, right, that are having these opportunities. They just need access to cash. They need access to money. They just need that. So it's a great fit. I mean, now that would be really amazing to have.
Awesome. We're on it. Cool.
All right, fellas. I appreciate you guys as always. And I'm excited to kind of see what's unfolding, out in front of us. There's so much. I mean, one thing we didn't even get to the land and farm edition and the stuff that they're doing. I mean, like, you think about how many markets have the rural communities that EXP can tap into. It's a whole different ballgame of how to go after that as well.
Love it.
Yes.
Good stuff. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you guys soon. See you.
You guys.